You know the feeling. You've spent 3 months building a feature that is objectively better than anything your competitors have. The code is clean, the UI is snappy, and the logic is sound. You launch it, wait for the surge of users, and then silence. You check your analytics. A handful of people landed on your page, but most of them found your competitor first. Why? Because while you were in the zone, deep in a VS Code window, perfecting the architecture, your competitor was publishing 3 blog posts a week. They aren't building a better product, they're just better at telling Google that they exist. For most developers and technical founders, this is the ultimate frustration. You value shipping code over writing marketing copy. The idea of spending a Sunday afternoon trying to figure out long-tail keywords or meta descriptions feels like a waste of your talent. But here's the cold truth. If nobody can find your site, the quality of your code doesn't actually matter. This creates a brutal trade-off. You either sacrifice your development velocity to play content creator, or you ignore SEO and let your competitors capture all the organic traffic. It feels like a losing game, but it doesn't have to be. AI SEO automation has changed the math, allowing you to maintain your build speed without leaving your traffic to chance. The hidden cost of manual content creation for engineers. When a developer decides to handle the blog, it usually follows a predictable, painful pattern. You set a goal to post once a week. The first week, you're motivated. You write a deep dive into a technical challenge you solved. It takes you 6 hours because you want it to be perfect. By week 3, the content debt starts piling up. You have a feature deadline on Tuesday, a bug in production on Wednesday, and suddenly that blog post you promised is 3 weeks late. You start to resent the blog. It feels like a chore that distracts you from the real work. The opportunity cost of your time. Let's look at the actual numbers. If you spend 5 hours a week researching, drafting, and formatting an SEO-optimized post, that's 20 hours a month. Over a year, that's 240 hours. For a senior developer, those hours are incredibly expensive. They could be spent on reducing technical debt that's slowing down your deployment pipeline, adding that one killer feature that increases your conversion rate, improving site performance and core web vitals, actually getting some sleep. When you trade dev time for content, you aren't just losing hours, you're losing momentum. Every hour spent fighting with a WordPress editor or a Markdown plugin is an hour you aren't innovating on your product. The quality versus consistency trap. Developers often fall into the trap of thinking that only high-effort content matters. You might believe that unless you write a 3,000-word technical white paper, it isn't worth publishing. While deep dives are great for authority, search engines crave consistency and breadth. Google doesn't just want one perfect article, it wants to see that your site is a reliable resource for a variety of queries. If you only post once every 2 months because you're waiting for the perfect piece, you're invisible to the algorithm. The struggle is that maintaining that level of breadth manually is nearly impossible for someone whose primary job is writing code. Why traditional SEO is a nightmare for technical teams. Traditional SEO often feels like a black box filled with contradictory advice. One expert tells you that you need 2,000 words per post. Another says brevity is king. One tool tells you to stuff your keyword in the first paragraph. Another says that's keyword stuffing and will get you penalized. For someone who likes logical systems, the unpredictability of SEO is irritating. You want a function where, in reality, SEO is more like a complex, undocumented API that changes its schema every few months. The keyword research rabbit hole. Keyword research is where most developers give up. You download a tool, see a list of 5,000 keywords, and have no idea where to start. High volume, high competition, these are the vanity keywords. Everyone wants them, but unless you have a massive budget and a team of writers, you'll never hit page 1. Low volume, low competition. These are often too niche to move the needle. The sweet spot, finding those specific, long-tail queries that people actually type when they are ready to buy. Finding this sweet spot manually takes hours of digging. It requires analyzing search intent, understanding whether a user wants to learn something, informational intent, or buy something, transactional intent. Doing this for every single post is a grind. The formatting headache. Even after the words are written, the work isn't done. To actually rank, you need proper H1, H2, and H3 hierarchy, not just for looks, but so crawlers understand the structure. Internal linking. linking your new post back to your landing page and other relevant articles to keep users on the site. Meta tags, writing a click-worthy title and description that doesn't get cut off in the mobile view. Image optimization, compressing images and adding alt text so they show up in image search. For a dev, this is the CSS of content. It's the tedious polishing phase that feels like a waste of time, but is actually what determines if the page ranks. How AI SEO automation flips the script. This is where the shift happens. We've moved past the era of AI that just writes text. Early AI content was generic, repetitive, and often wrong. It produced fluff that readers hated and Google eventually ignored. Modern AI SEO automation, the kind integrated into tools like Nextblog, does something different. It doesn't just write, it strategizes. It combines market analysis, competitor research, and algorithmic requirements into a single automated workflow. From writing to orchestrating, instead of staring at a blank cursor, your role changes from a writer to an orchestrator. Imagine a system that scans your competitors. It sees that your biggest rival is ranking for best API for X, but they haven't mentioned Y in their latest post. Identifies the gap. It finds a high traffic, low competition keyword that your competitors missed. Drafts the content. It writes a comprehensive post that answers the user's question better than the current top 3 results. Optimizes the structure. It automatically handles the H tags, the meta descriptions, and the internal links. Syncs to your site. It pushes the content directly to your Next.js or React site via API or syncs it to your Notion workspace for a quick review. Suddenly, you aren't trading your dev time for content. You're spending 5 minutes reviewing a draft that would have taken you 6 hours to research and write. The power of programmatic content. For technical products, there are often hundreds of comparison or how-to queries. For example, if you have a payment tool, people are searching for tool A versus tool B, tool A versus tool C, and so on. Writing these manually is soul-crushing, but with AI automation, you can generate these comparison assets at scale. You provide the core value propositions of your product, and the AI handles the permutations. This allows you to cast a wide net, capturing leads from every possible search angle while you stay focused on the back end. Implementing a content engine without slowing down development. If you're a developer in a hurry, the last thing you want is another complex tool to manage. The goal is to make the content engine a set it and forget it part of your stack. The ideal workflow for busy founders. The most efficient way to handle this is by integrating your content pipeline directly into your existing tools. Connection. You connect your site, Next.js, React, etc., to the automation tool. Briefing, you spend 2 minutes describing your product's unique selling points and your target audience. Analysis, the AI analyzes the current market landscape and identifies ranking opportunities. Review, the content is generated and synced to a place where you already spend time, like Notion. You scan it for technical accuracy, tweak a sentence here and there, and hit publish. Distribution, the content goes live and starts indexing. This workflow removes the friction of content creation. There is no switching between a keyword tool, a Google Doc, a grammar checker, and a CMS. Everything happens in a streamlined loop. Why API-driven content wins? For those of us building with Next.js or React, a traditional CMS can feel clunky. You don't want to deal with heavy plugins or slow dashboards. Using a tool with a simple API or SDK means your blog is just another data source. You can style your blog posts exactly how you want, using your own components, ensuring that the marketing side of your site feels just as polished as the product side. When the AI updates a post via the API, your site updates automatically. No manual uploading, no FTP, no headache. The math of organic growth, paid ads versus AI SEO. Many founders try to skip the content struggle by throwing money at Google Ads or Meta Ads. It works at first. You pay for a click, the user lands on your page, and maybe they convert. But paid traffic has a fundamental flaw. It's a rental. The moment you stop paying the rent, the daily ad spend, your traffic drops to zero. Building an equity asset, SEO content is not a rental, it's an asset. When you publish an optimized post that ranks number 1 for a specific query, you are effectively owning a piece of digital real estate. Think about it this way. Paid ad, $2 per click. 1,000 visitors equals $2,000 spent. Tomorrow, if you don't pay another $2,000, you get 0 visitors. SEO post, 10 hours of effort, or 5 minutes of AI review. 1,000 visitors per month equals $0 spent. Next month, you get another 1,000 visitors for free. The year after that, it's still there, probably ranking even higher because it has gained authority. When you use AI SEO automation, you are building this asset without the massive upfront time investment. You're creating a traffic magnet that works 24/7, even while you're asleep or deep in a debugging session. Comparing the ROI feature, paid ads, PPC, manual blogging, AI SEO automation. Launch, setup speed, instant, very slow, fast, ongoing effort, medium, management, very high, low, cost per lead, increases over time, low if you value time at $0, very low, long-term value, 0, traffic stops with payment, high, permanent assets, high, permanent assets, low, dev time cost, low, extreme, minimum, common pitfalls when automating your content. Now, a word of caution, just because you can automate doesn't mean you should blindly hit publish on everything. AI is a powerful tool, but it still needs a human pilot. The generic content trap. The biggest mistake people make is using AI to write generic, what is industry posts. Google is getting better at spotting low-effort, generic AI content. If your post sounds like it could have been written by anyone, it won't rank, and if it does rank, it won't convert. The key is to provide the AI with specific context. Instead of saying, write about SaaS conversion, tell the AI, write about SaaS conversion for B2B developer tools, mentioning the importance of a free API tier and the friction of overly long sign-up forms. The more specific the input, the more human and authoritative the output. Tools like Nextblog handle this by analyzing your market first, giving the AI the necessary context to write posts that actually resonate with your specific audience. Ignoring the conversion part of the equation, traffic is a vanity metric. 100,000 visitors who don't sign up for your product is a failure. Your content shouldn't just be SEO optimized, it needs to be conversion optimized. Every blog post should have a goal. The educational post, teach the user a skill, to lead them to a feature that makes that skill easier. The comparison post, show how you're better than a competitor, to lead them to a switch to Yes landing page. The how-to post, solve a specific problem, to lead them to your documentation or a demo. When reviewing your AI-generated content, always ask, where is the bridge to my product? If the post is just an encyclopedia entry, add a call to action, CTA, that turns that reader into a lead. A step-by-step guide to scaling your traffic while shipping code. If you're ready to stop sacrificing your dev time, here is the blueprint for implementing an automated SEO strategy. Step 1. Audit your current content gap. Don't just start posting randomly. Look at your competitors. Which pages are bringing them the most traffic? You can use tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush, but even a simple manual search can tell you a lot. If you see that 3 of your competitors all have how to integrate X with Y guides, and you don't, you have a content gap. This is your first target. Step 2. Define your core pillars. Divide your product's value into 3 to 4 main pillars. Pillar 1. Technical superiority, speed, security, architecture. Pillar 2. Use cases, how to use your tool for X, Y, and Z. Pillar 3. Competitor comparisons, your tool versus the industry standard. Pillar 4. Industry trends, the future of your niche. This ensures your AI doesn't just wander aimlessly, but builds a comprehensive topical authority that Google loves. Step 3. Set up the automation pipeline. This is where you integrate a tool like Nextblog, connect your site, input your pillars and target audience, let the system find the keywords. Establish a review cadence, e.g., 30 minutes every Friday to approve the next week's posts. Step 4. Measure and iterate. Don't just set it and forget it. Check your Google Search Console once a month. Which posts are getting impressions but no clicks? Your meta titles might be boring. Tweak them. Which posts have a high bounce rate? The content might not be answering the user's question quickly enough. Add a summary at the top. Which posts are driving signups? Double down on that topic. Tell the AI to find 5 more related keywords in that specific niche. Frequently asked questions about AI SEO automation. Q. Won't Google penalize me for using AI generated content? A. Google has explicitly stated that they reward high quality content, regardless of how it is produced. They don't penalize AI content, they penalize low effort content that provides no value to the user. As long as your content is accurate, helpful, and optimized for the user, you're safe. The danger isn't the AI, it's the lack of a human review process. Q. How long does it actually take to see results? A. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. However, with AI automation, you can move much faster. Typically, you'll see an increase in impressions, your site appearing in searches, within 2 to 4 weeks. Actual traffic growth usually ramps up between months 2 and 3 as Google begins to trust your site's authority on the subject. Q. Do I still need to be an SEO expert to use these tools? No, that's the entire point. The automation handles the technical heavy lifting, keyword research, internal linking, and structure. Your expertise is your knowledge of your own product. You just need to ensure the AI isn't hallucinating a feature you don't have. Q. Can I use this for a very niche technical product? Yes, and it's actually more effective for niche products. In a broad market, competition is fierce. In a niche market, there are often many low-hanging fruit keywords that no one is targeting. AI is great at finding these specific gaps and filling them. Q. What happens if the AI writes something technically incorrect? Uh, this is why the review step is non-negotiable. You should never have an AI system pushed directly to production without a human eye scanning the draft. Spend 5 minutes checking the technical claims. It's far better to spend 5 minutes reviewing than 5 hours writing from scratch. The long-term play, authority, and product-led growth. At the end of the day, a blog isn't just about SEO. It's about building authority. When a potential customer discovers your product, the first thing they often do is look for documentation or articles that prove you know what you're talking about. If your blog is empty or has 3 posts from 2022, you look like a weekend project. If your blog is filled with fresh, insightful, and helpful content that solves their specific problems, you look like the industry leader. You aren't just a tool, you're a resource. This is the essence of product-led growth. Your content attracts the user to the content educates the user on why they need your solution. The user signs up for your product because you've already proven your value. By automating the grunt work of SEO, you create a permanent marketing engine that fuels this cycle without stealing a single hour from your development roadmap. Stop letting your competitors own the search results off. Every day that your folder remains empty or outdated is a day you're handing leads to your competitors. You've already done the hard part. You've built a great product. Don't let that effort go to waste simply because you didn't want to spend your weekends writing about keywords. The trade-off between dev time and content is a false choice. You don't have to choose between a great product and a great ranking. You just need a system that handles the marketing logic while you handle the product logic. If you're tired of the content debt and want to start seeing your organic traffic climb without abandoning your IDE, it's time to automate. Stop guessing what Google wants. Stop fighting with your CMS. Stop trading your most valuable asset, your time, for a few blog posts. Ready to grow your traffic on autopilot? Check out Nextblog and see how you can get daily SEO optimized posts